When we think of history's deadliest wars, we picture World War II, World War I, and maybe even the Napoleonic Wars. But what if I told you some of the bloodiest wars in human history aren't the ones you've heard about? Conflicts so brutal they wiped out entire populations. Yet they remain largely forgotten. Get ready to uncover the wars that changed the world but never made it into your history books. Throughout history, war has shaped civilizations. Empires have risen and fallen, millions have perished, and entire cultures have been erased from existence. We all know about the world wars. But what about the wars that happened centuries earlier? Conflicts so destructive that they make even modern wars look small by comparison. Let's start with one of the deadliest wars you've likely never heard of. China's Taiping Rebellion was one of the most devastating wars in history. Yet few outside of China even know about it. Sparked by a man who claimed to be the brother of Jesus Christ, this brutal conflict lasted 14 years and led to the deaths of an estimated 30 million people. More than World War I, the war turned China into a battleground, with entire cities being burned to the ground. It was a war of religion, politics, and power, and in the end, it left the Qing dynasty barely holding on to control. And yet, it's rarely mentioned in Western history books. Now, let's go even further back, to the An Lushan Rebellion, which took place during China's Tang dynasty. This was a civil war on an unimaginable scale. The rebellion lasted 8 years and led to one of the greatest population collapses in human history. It's estimated that up to 36 million people, a staggering 1/6 of the world's population at the time, died from war, famine, and disease. If this war happened today, it would be the deadliest conflict of all time. And yet, it remains largely forgotten. Next, we move to Europe's 30 Years' War, a conflict that started as a religious dispute but quickly escalated into a full-blown catastrophe. This war devastated the Holy Roman Empire, leading to 8 million deaths, mostly civilians. Towns were completely wiped out, disease spread like wildfire, and entire regions of Germany saw their populations drop by over 50%. To put it simply, this was Europe's own version of an apocalypse. But what if I told you one of the deadliest wars in human history happened just 2 decades ago? The Congo Wars, often called Africa's World War, resulted in 5.4 million deaths, more than any war since World War II. It involved 9 African nations and dozens of armed groups, leading to mass atrocities, famine, and destruction on a level the world barely noticed. Even today, the region continues to suffer from the effects of this war.